All right, is the president going to be effective on this? Again, he is meeting with these 52 Republican senators in the hope that they can cobble together something, and sooner rather than later. I mean, like real soon, like by this weekend. Democratic strategist Jessica Tarlov, former McCain campaign director Ford O'Connell, and Politico Playbook co-author Anna Palmer. Anna, how likely is it that a deal can be had by this weekend?
I think it's going to be tough. It's do or die time right now for Senate Republicans. Clearly, there are, a half dozen or so that are on the line here trying to figure out if they can find a way forward. The Republican leadership, Mitch McConnell, is trying to do small changes, tweaks that could get some of them on board. I think it's going to be very difficult. I think the Senate is not aligned in the same way the House was to get something passed on tax reform in the same way. So when I'm hearing that, Ford, I'm thinking, all right, then he's got to get everybody on the same page now. That is, all of these 6 senators we were showing. I'm not talking about, the Daines is out there and the Johnsons who have concerns about the business treatment in this, but they're worried about adding to the deficits. How likely can the president ease their concerns or cobble together a deal that will do that?
Well, I think that there's no question it's going to be a nail-biter to get to 50, but I think that they should be optimistic because essentially Rand Paul's on board. And to your point, the 7 or 8 holdouts, Neil, are generally over minor policy differences. I think
so you don't picture them being no votes in the end?
No, I don't. If you can come up with something about a debt backstop in terms of coming up with something that's a mechanism that in case the revenue doesn't come in, then you can shoot the rates back up. I mean, I don't really personally like it because I think it's actually, bringing up the possibility that we may not have the growth that we're looking for. But I think overall this is going to happen. I mean, only 2 people I really am unsure about here are Collins and McCain.
Jessica, would Democrats or potentially a few more be on board if the Republicans stuck to this so-called middle ground position to address those who are concerned about the deficits that would call for taxes going up if the revenues don't turn up?
I think it would certainly help, but as people have been pointing out this morning all over Twitter, there are Democrats, senators in deep red states, looking at Heidi Heitkamp, Joe Manchin, who are against this bill because it's just that bad. And it doesn't seem like there are any compromises coming down the pipe that would get them anywhere near towards voting this. So Ford is always more optimistic about the Republicans' chances. I am more with Anna on this. I don't think it's going to happen. And if you say that Collins and McCain are the ones that you're really watching, look what happened with the health care vote. And then isn't a simple thing that Collins is holding out on. Removing the individual mandate, it's a $300 billion gone.
Jessica,
from the plan, if that, yes, Ford.
Jessica, we know that Chuck Schumer's made the case that they're going to hold the line no matter what until the Republicans can get 50 votes. So to your point, Neil, there's going to be no Democrat who jumps on board till the Republicans can prove that they can get 50 votes.
Yeah, no, I definitely think you're right on that. Anna, when I look at this, I mean, people get brave when they feel they can get room to be brave, right?
Exactly.
So Anna, is it your sense from the numbers you're crunching and the people with whom you're talking that these no's or concerns are overstated, that there's actually more support there than we know or appreciate?
Yeah, I want to clarify. I was saying that I don't think a tax bill necessarily gets done by the end of the week. I'm not saying that it's never going to get done.
Understood.
I think it actually has the most optimistic chances of any legislation that they've looked at, particularly compared to health care. I do think that you're going to find common ground here. I think that there is enough momentum among Republicans. They are being told that if they do not pass tax reform, to expect a wave election in the midterm elections. Nothing is more fearful and causes people to vote a certain way than looking at their own reelection prospects.
Yeah, but if you, just to say, I agree with you, and I've said from the beginning, if the Republicans don't get something done that's good for the economy, then the businessman presidency will be a failure, and they will be a failure, though. I mean, just looking at cycles, we're due for a wave election anyway. So that makes sense. Anyway, Ford, just let me say this. When you say that people are going to get brave when it's no longer a brave moment, right, when everyone else is there, you have to look at public opinion as well. And the American public does not like this bill, not because Democrats are messaging so well on it, because the bill isn't good for middle class and lower class Americans,
I totally
and they're not stupid.
I totally disagree with you, and here's why. Part of the reason why Americans don't like this bill is, one, the media doesn't understand actually how the economy works. Two, the White House has not done a good job messaging this. At the end of the day, this is really about job creation. Look, we're running an outdated corporate tax system to the point where we're one of the highest in the industrialized world. You know, and we're talking about knocking this down to 20, 25%, depending on the pass-throughs. China's at 25. England's at 18. Canada's at 15. I mean, my God, we are running an outdated playbook and we're talking about jobs.
You're right. You can make a very compelling argument. You lower business taxes, and all of a sudden,
it'll trickle right down.
Companies have. Well, no, but you can make an argument they will pour that back into plant and equipment. I think my biggest concern right now, Anna, is that in the past, when companies have been flushed with a little more cash, they tend to plow that back into their operations and into their own stock and dividends. Now, they're free to do that, but it's going to raise a lot of cynicism that, wait a minute, they're getting a permanent break that's allowing them to do this and enrich themselves, and I'm not.
I think it is a messaging of something that the Republicans are going to have to try to figure out a way to actually message this. I think one of the issues has been this permanent corporate tax break, and whether or not, I mean, I think you talk to Republicans, what they want to be able to tell their constituents is you're going to have more money at the end of the day in your pocket. And if they can't tell them that, I think they are very concerned about
how they're going to
actually get people motivated on this.
Ronald Reagan got the simple argument right. I trust you with your money more than I trust the government with its money. And let the grays and details be sort of fought over in committee. I mean, I think that they're getting too nuanced about it.
Isn't that the argument for an individual tax cut? To Ford's point, yes, I understand the corporate cut, and there are some Democrats who are fans of that, maybe not this low. Right. But when you're not slashing the individual rate, when you're not saying to everyday Americans, you know what, I'm going to give you a break, not your boss.
You are slashing it, but not to the degree on the corporate. I would agree with you. It is a hodgepodge, and the argument for it is that it's better than what we've got now. Now, that's we'll see.
It absolutely is better than what we have now. But I think that one of the things that we always miss out on this is...
I think you would agree, Ford, that the individual part of this is pathetic.